Okay, so we'll get started as it is. So let me officially welcome everyone, all participants, all friends, all supporters, attending judges, members of the Nurture Nature campaign, and the Trinidad and Tobago Photographic Society, representatives of our sponsors and partners, viewers joining in on the Facebook live stream. For those of y'all who are viewing anywhere, whether it is on Zoom or on Facebook, please feel free to interact in the chat. All right. Also, welcome to members of the media who are here. It is my pleasure to have you on board with this, the region's very first conservation photography competition. All right. So listen, right, telling people what to do in terms of how to behave in the environment, failure time and time again. We're just gradually learning that people can't care for the things that they do not understand. And for them to understand these things, they have to be made aware of it, right? And that's where awareness and creating awareness comes in. And that's our job as photographers, right? So awareness, creating that awareness is the first step in getting people to care for the nature by encouraging people to go outside and observe nature. So, hey, for those of you all wondering who I am, my name is Faraaz Abdool. I just started to talk and didn't introduce myself, so apologies for my lack of manners. I'm a wildlife photographer, writer, and conservation advocate based in Trinidad and Tobago. For the purposes of this competition, I come to you as the competition manager and the human face. So the Nurturing the Wild photography competition was conceptualized somewhere around a year ago, where a few minds were tossing around some various methods by which we could better serve the planet Earth. And, this brought about this partnership where we all brought our varied skill sets together. So what we wanted to do is that we wanted people to go out and experience and go out and explore and carry your camera with you, or it might be your phone or whatever means that you have to really capture what is it before you. And as many of you would know, Trinidad of biodiversity, right? It's not seen anywhere else in the Caribbean. So what we wanted to do with this competition is to really get people involved, go outside, see what is there to be seen, and bring it to the wider population. As you all would know, we have in Trinidad and Tobago, we have the highest level of biodiversity in the Caribbean. This is according to the islands, right? This is not including South American countries, Guyana, but this is like strictly island-based that I'm speaking about. What we also wanted to do is to foster new modes of photography in Trinidad and Tobago. There are many people who are photographers and they are very competent photographers, but what we wanted to do specifically to do with conservation, we want to foster new modes of photography. And the new modes I'm talking about is really communicating a message about the natural world and how we interact with the natural world. So it's like every day we interact with nature, whether we know it or not. Everything comes from nature, everything goes back to nature. And we are constantly interacting with nature. Even if we don't go into nature, whatever you're eating is somehow derived from some kind of natural component, no matter how much it's processed. And we need to reevaluate how we interact with the natural world, because clearly how we've been doing it for the last few decades or even the last few hundred years has not been to the benefit of the natural world. And as photographers, we have a great responsibility. We have that responsibility to communicate a message. We are the ones who have to tell the story, right? And when I'm talking about the story, I mean the whole story, the pretty and beautiful side and the ugly side, because I know that you all would know there's a lot of ugly scenes that are playing out right now. And we are the ones who have to stand up and resist the norms, resist the status quo. This is the only way that we can bring about any kind of change. This is the only way that we can be the change makers of the future, right? If you want things to be differently in the future, we need to change how we are now, right? So, hey, remember the only way you can begin to change the world is by changing yourself. Surely people are going to oppose you, and people are going to say this and people are going to say that. I remember when, if I'll share a personal story, many years ago when I started to talk about conservation issues and so on, one of my longtime friends remarked, "Hey, Faraaz, since when you went Greenpeace, man?" And it's like, you know, at that point I could have said, "Oh no, this is not cool. I don't want to be perceived as not being cool," right? But I felt something visceral inside of me that said, you know, I have to stand up for these creatures. I have to be a voice for the environment. And you follow that, you know, that if no matter how many people oppose you, it is a necessary part of growth. Anytime you are deviating from the norm, right, and we know the norm is not going to end us in a nice place, we become therefore part of the solution. And let me give you another example from one of the world's most famous conservation photographers, Christina Mittermeier, right? And I quote, "As a young photographer, I went to a lot of conferences for nature photographers. I would raise my hand and ask how we could use our work to protect the places and species we photographed. And I was pretty much told to shut up and sit down. But I noticed a handful of the photographers I admired the most weren't just taking pictures of nature. They were using their skills, camera, and influence to protect those places. But they weren't recognizing themselves as anything other than a nature photographer. So I set out to define and describe a new discipline in photography, and I called it conservation photography. And Christina Mittermeier is one of the founders of the International League of Conservation Photographers, and she's a co-founder of Sea Legacy, which I'm sure many of you would know. She co-founded that with her partner, Paul Nicklin, and they are doing fantastic work. I know they were working in the Caribbean and Dominica, working on protecting some marine areas for sperm whales and so on. And you know, these people are the stewards of our future, and so too we all can be by whichever you know, action we can take. So for those of you thinking of becoming a conservation photographer, you might be wondering what really is required to become a great conservation photographer. And now to elucidate this concept, I bring you a few words by one of the judges of this competition. He's a region's only professional conservation photographer, and he is a senior fellow of the International League of Conservation Photographers, or ILCP. He is Eladio Fernandez, and to answer the question, what makes a great conservation photographer, he says, quote, "I believe the classic definition of a conservation photographer has evolved, at least for me. I'm no longer just there to document and find stories to tell. I'm there to be a part of that story as well through conducting scientific research, by serving on the boards of several conservation organizations, by facilitating action, by mounting expeditions to find long-lost species, by building nurseries for critically endangered plants, by being an outspoken critical environmental activist. We no longer have the luxury of being solely camera-carrying witnesses. We need to get our hands dirty and our feet wet." End quote. Now, I remember while Eladio is doing a superb job of doing what seems to be a million things, every action is significant, right? What I mean is that sometimes based on our capacity as individuals, we may feel like we're not really doing enough, but let me assure you, every little action counts. A storm is made up of individual raindrops, drop by drops fills the bucket. You get what I mean, right? So today we bring you these winners on World Environment Day. This is a day to truly spread further awareness of the climate emergency that is currently on the way. This year's theme, as you can see, is Only One Earth, which could not be a more relevant motif today. Every year we use more and more resources while we pursue infinite economic growth on a finite planet. Every year, Earth Overshoot Day, which in case you aren't aware of it, it's a day by which we've used up the resources that can be replenished in a single year naturally. So every year, this Earth Overshoot Day creeps up further and further. And so it really represents that day at which we as a planet have used up all the resources that are allocated for our species for the particular year. And last year, Earth Overshoot Day fell on July 29th. So at July 29th, 2021, we already used up everything that the planet had to offer, and we are now chipping away at the future. So for 5 months of the year, we are taking away from our future. And this is not from our future. This is from our children's future or grandchildren's future. So we really have to think about what really are we doing, right? And you know, you see a lot of stories on the news about where we were exploring this and we were exploring that. Do not be fooled by any kind of pipe dreams of moving to another Earth. There is only one Earth. So let me at this point deliver this message on behalf of the UN Environment Program on World Environment Day. So take a listen.
In the universe are billions of galaxies.
In our galaxy are billions of planets.
But there is only one Earth.
For most of our history, humans lived in harmony with nature.
But we have shattered that balance.
Exploiting our planet for products and wealth, creating a climate catastrophe, driving species to extinction,
and polluting our land, seas, and air.
The web of life is fraying. If it fails, we as a species will fail too.
The science is clear, and time is running out.
We must go from harming our planet to healing it.
We must protect what we have and bring back what we lost to advance to a more sustainable future where everyone can thrive.
Humanity has come together before to prevent environmental catastrophes.
We have helped repair the ozone layer.
We have restored millions of hectares of land and marine ecosystems, protecting thousands of species. And we've banned dangerous pollutants,
saving countless lives.
Let those victories be the torches that ignite more action and illuminate the path to a world in which we are once again at peace with nature.
In the universe are billions of galaxies. In our
Dunia ni moja tu.
All right, so there was that message. So again, gratitude to everyone who participated in this, especially the youth. You can see here we got 86 youth entries. We had also 199 adult entries. I must say, during the vote, photographers not only calling for people to vote for theirs, but for people to vote for their friends' entries as well. So I absolutely, and this competition would have not been possible without you, nor would it have been possible without a few other key players. Firstly, our judges who came from near and far to lend their expertise and experience, poring over almost 300 entries. They are the ones who had the hardest task in whittling, stiff as ever, and there were many absolutely incredible images submitted. Also special mention To our sponsors and partners in this, HADCO Limited as a gold sponsor, Epson and Republic Bank as silver sponsors, SII and Nanans Currently Bird Sanctuary Tours as bronze sponsors, and Z Birding Tours and Nature Hikes as a partner. And at this point, talking about sponsors, I wish to deliver a couple of special messages to everyone, and firstly from our gold sponsor, HADCO. So I quote, "Today on World Environment Day, we at HADCO recognize and celebrate the theme Only One Earth, especially now more than ever. We know and understand that for we as a species to survive, we must acknowledge a symbiotic relationship with our natural world. We must coexist respectfully with our forests, wetlands, and oceans, and the wildlife which inhabit them. We celebrate this photography competition as being a first of its kind in the Caribbean, and celebrate every entry and every submitted photograph. We are all winners here because as photographers doing what you do, you are telling this story. This is so vital in bringing awareness to the beautiful biodiversity of our homeland, Trinidad and Tobago, and to making it a better place. And so we salute and encourage you all to plod on, continue doing what you are doing, hone your craft, keep exploring and challenging yourselves, and get better at it. Because through your eyes and your lens, the people of our homeland would nurture a love of the wild and have the desire to protect it and what lives in it. We are all change makers. Thank you for your photographs, and we look forward to what next year's competition brings." End quote. To follow up on that, here is a message on behalf of the judging panel from one of our judges, Georgina Statler, who unfortunately cannot be here as it is currently 2:23 a.m. in Albany, Western Australia, where she lives. So she says, I quote, "I'm extremely honored to have had the opportunity to be a judge for this competition. I want to thank all the entrants for showing me the beautiful wildlife and landscapes of Trinidad and Tobago and the issues that need to be addressed if we are to preserve them. My wholehearted congratulations to the winners, and I hope this inspires you to continue to highlight the natural world through your photography and inspire others to care. The greatest hurdle confronting conservation is not the bad actions of the few, but the apathy of the majority. In the words of Dr. Jane Goodall, we will have to stop depending on someone else to save the world. It is up to us, you and me, all of us," end quote. So I again thank everyone. And at this point, I wish to introduce for a little message to you, Mark Gibson, who is a volunteer director with the Nurture Nature campaign. Mark is a criminologist specializing in wildlife trades, and he's also an avid amateur photographer. So Mark, welcome.
Thank you very much, Faraaz, and thank you very much to everyone attending today. It is a pleasure to be able to speak to you on this 50th anniversary of World Environment Day. And at what we have been told by our judges, especially Eladio Fernandez of Dominican Republic, this is likely the first conservation-only themed photography competition that has ever been done in the Caribbean. And it's we're very, very thrilled to have that featuring here in Trinidad and Tobago from a perspective of advocacy, from the perspective of trying to build capacity for conservation in the Caribbean. As just a few remarks for this is, I have long been working in the conservation field, and I've seen it from many different angles, from grassroots to some of the bigger conservation names like World Wildlife Fund and Pew Charitable Trusts. And one thing that's always a limiting factor in all the advocacy they do is the access and the power of images. And it is something I've seen very much firsthand in how much effort goes into finding images that can tell a story and help us reflect on this world that we live in. And so that is this passion that I have found for trying to work with Faraaz and Trinidad and Tobago Photographic Society for the last almost 2 years since we've started talking about this. And I've loved the ability that Faraaz has brought to the competition to share a little bit about conservation photography as it's actually practiced. Because I'm just an amateur photographer, and through Faraaz connecting then with these incredible judges who have very much shaped the vision. And so just some of their names: Georgina Statler, who is just a phenomenal award-winning nature photographer, Eladio Fernandez, who is the one, if not only, fellow for the International League of Conservation Photography in the Caribbean out of Dominican Republic, and then local multidisciplinary artist Julia Haddad. And so through those conversations and with our friends and experts at Trinidad and Tobago Photographic Society, I think we've put forward what I hope is a really great first effort at trying to support conservation photography in Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe some bigger piece of the Caribbean. So with that, I would just say thank you so much again to Faraaz and to TT-Photographic Society for really doing this, because we don't have at the campaign any experience doing photo competitions. So this has just been a pleasure, and I welcome everyone. And like many of you guys out there, I am really excited to see the winners. I am going to be learning along with the rest of you. So with that, Faraaz, let me hand this back to you.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, lovely message there. And without further ado, let me also now introduce the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Photographic Society to bring you another message, Chad Lu Choi. Chad is a commercial and documentary photographer, and he's an avid trail runner and struggling student of the Japanese language. Chad, over to you, man.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be talking to you today. I'll keep it very short because I know everyone is very excited to hear our winners of this competition. So just a couple of things I'd like to say. It's always very exciting for us at the Trinidad and Tobago Photographic Society to be involved in something like this. Really, it's a celebration of photography, and I mean, that is really what we're all about. It was a pleasure for us to work along with the Nature campaign and Faraaz Abdool on this competition, because it gave, even though we've had our annual photographic competition for the past several years, this is the first time that we've been able to add this dimension of social impact. So I think it did give the competition a little more focus, and the fact that we were able to not just celebrate photography in Trinidad and Tobago and photographers of Trinidad and Tobago, but also to help promote this important aspect and topic of wildlife conservation. So thank you so much to our two partners on this competition for helping us bring that added layer of importance to the competition. Another thing that really excited us was the use of extended captions. We've allowed captions in our previous competitions, but having these longer captions really did help with the storytelling aspect of the photograph. So that is actually something that we consider going forward with our other competitions as well. The preservation of the environment is actually part of our mission. I mean, it's stated there as part of our mission, so it was really good to have that integrated into this competition. And finally, I was excited to see a lot of new photographers. We've seen some of our existing photographers that we see in other competitions, but this one gave us quite a number of new names that we have not seen before. So we welcome all the photographers across Trinidad and Tobago, and especially these new ones who come out from wherever they were hiding and shared this amazing work with us. So let's not delay any further. And let's jump right into what we're all here to hear. Up to you, Faraaz.
Thank you so much, Chad. And so, yeah, as Chad was saying, back to begin what we've all gathered here for, right? So just before we really get into it, I just want to again just say, you know, we had adult and youth divisions, each in these three categories: biodiversity in danger, captured lives, and wild and beautiful. All right, so these photographers have been competing for some substantial prizes for each adult division, because I just want to tell you what is at stake before we really get into the winners, so you'll know exactly what the winners are winning, right? This is what is at stake. So for each adult division, on the category winners is they're all going to receive $3,400 TT cash. The first runner-up wins $2,000, and the second runner-up wins $600. For each youth division, the winner is winning a special eco tour for them and their family. And this is, we have actually 3 locations. So one is an eco tour in the River Swamp, one is in Caroni Swamp, and another one is on Little Tobago, right here in Northeast Tobago. The winner of each youth category is going to get also 600 TT. First runner-up gets a gift basket from the Trinidad and Tobago Field Naturalist Club and 500 TT. And the second runner-up for each category gets a framed, professionally framed print of their own work and 400 TT dollars. Now, all of these TT dollars for the youth are going to be donated very generously by Republic Bank, and they are going to be placed in a brand new Right Start account. Okay, and let me not forget a couple other significant prizes, right? The People's Choice Award winner is going to be the recipient of $2,000 TT in cash, and the winner of the HADCO Grand Prize receives 6,000 TT dollars and a professional photo printer courtesy Epson. So, are we ready, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Let me know. I'm not seeing anything popping off in the chat, but I'm sure you're all a little bit anxious. Yeah, my hands are sweaty in solidarity. All right. So first of all, ladies and gents, biodiversity in danger. So submissions in this category tell stories about wildlife known or suspected to be severely impacted by human activities in Trinidad and Tobago. The category biodiversity in danger depicts wild animals and plants in natural habitats or the human interactions that threaten them. So are we ready? Adult. Second runner-up is Sapphire on Combritum by Terence Cornand. Congratulations, Terence. First runner-up is Here I Lay by Darren Chung, right? First of all, as Chad was saying, these captions, I wish I could read the captions for all of these images, right? Because I was really, really heartened by how much people can communicate how the scene makes them feel. So congratulations to the first runner-up, Darren, and the second runner-up, Terence. And the winner of biodiversity in danger in the adult division is Justin Wallace with If I Could Walk on Water. Congratulations, folks. On to the youth. Second runner-up, Johan Marchuk with Watagwan. This is a personal favorite of mine. I love puns. And yeah, Watagwan, an image of a critically endangered endemic species of Trinidad, the Trinidad piping guan. Second runner-up in biodiversity in danger in the youth category. First runner-up is Asha Cabrera with As I Lay, right? First runner-up, biodiversity in danger youth. And I must say at this point in time, folks, this is a poached loggerhead turtle. And for those of you who follow sea turtles. The loggerhead turtle is a very rare breeding visitor to Trinidad and Tobago. And this image is a very emotive portrait of a poached one. As you all can see, there are no fins or meat on her. So this is a really, really powerful and poignant image. And the winner here, Kings and Queens by Johan Marchuk, a beautiful image of a blue and gold macaw on Flooring Immortal. So congratulations everyone in the biodiversity and danger category for adult and youth. All right, and now I'm gonna be passing this over to Mark to talk about captured lives. Before Mark comes on, let me just tell you the captured life category involves submissions telling stories about the often difficult lives of captive and traded wildlife in Trinidad and Tobago. Captured lives depicts the experiences of animals or the practices associated with keeping them in captivity. So, Mark, take it away.
Thank you very much, Faraaz. It is my pleasure. And for our second runner-up, Captured Lives Adult, we have Oh Dear by Javan Maharaj. Congratulations, Javan. This is a beautiful image from a storytelling perspective. Unfortunately, a lot of deers are held captive outside of hunting season, and this is really powerful. I think it goes to show how much the space can be compressed for many of these animals. So thank you, Jivan. And for the first runner-up, we have, for Captured Lives for Adult, we have Alone by Kevin Sammy. Also, just as someone working on a wildlife trade campaign, this is really incredible because these animals are so common and really have a tough time of it. So thank you. That's incredible imagery, Kevin Sammy. Congratulations. And for our winner of Captured Lives Adult Division, we have Live Viewing, Zachez Mahabir. Again, really powerful image, primate, captive. I mean, for me, just seeing this, you really see, unfortunately, the boredom and the longing and that daily relationship with bars. That's not what these animals were meant to live for. So this is an incredible image. Thank you so much for Zachez Mahabir. And moving on to Youth Division, second runner-up, Captured Lives, we have All By Myself, Maya Nanan. Fantastic image. This is, for those of you who don't know it, an iconic blue and gold that was once extirpated from Trinidad, where it is native, and was only brought back by the work of some incredible conservationists. So there's a lot of story to this. Thank you so much to Maya Nanan. This is an incredible image. For first runner-up, Frankie, Ariana Christopher, another wonderful, iconic blue and gold, such a common pet, and it is such a hard to care for pet and to keep happy and healthy throughout its life. I thank you for showing this image here in particular, which really shows, like the last one, unusually large cages, which means that this bird is going to spend much more time being able to hop about and move its wings and spread out. So thank you so much, Ariana Christopher. For the winner of Youth Captured Lives, we have this fantastic image, Let Me Out by Asha Cabrera. Thank you so much, Asha. For those of you who don't know, this is what's known locally as the manikou, and it is trapped. It is trapped, unfortunately, as a vermin species, and yet it is very important to the ecosystem. And it's a very tough thing to see how much these guys are actually hunted, and what I've been told by people in Tobago, for example, is that it's hard to find these guys. So incredible image. Thank you for showing what this trapping experience looks like for them. Asha Cabrera, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. And congratulations again for all of the winners in Captured Lives. So here we go, moving on to the final category, Wild and Beautiful. This is a category that seeks submissions to tell stories about the beauty and incredible ecotourism potential offered by the wild places of Trinidad and Tobago. So we're talking about images that depict natural places or the responsible enjoyment by Trinidadians. So for this category, I invite Chad Luchoy, president of the Trinidad and Tobago Photographic Society, to announce the winners.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I mean, beautiful images so far, and congrats to all our winners. All right, our second runner-up in the Wild and Beautiful category is Tufted Capuchin by Kevin Foster. I remember this image when we finally got the shortlist from the judges. And I mean, I'm not a nature photographer by any means, but I have tried to take pictures of monkeys, and you know, it's not a very easy thing, at least not for me. So congratulations, Kevin. Our first runner-up in the Wild and Beautiful Adult category is Love Embrace by Kevin Sammy. I'm glad to announce this prize to Kevin because we've actually celebrated some of Kevin's work in our regular annual competition. So I was really happy to see Kevin jumping in and taking part in this new venture of ours that we partnered with our new partners. So congratulations to Kevin. And our winner of the Adult Wild and Beautiful category is The Red-Billed Tropic Bird by Kevin Foster. I love this image. It's very coincidental that it is very reminiscent of one of the logo that we use for our competition, but that in no way impacted the judges' decisions. I also noticed that the three winners in this category were all Kevins. I think that is just coincidental as well. So I'd like to congratulate all the winners in this adult category for Wild and Beautiful. All right, and moving on to our under 18 category, we have See the Way by Caitlin Mohan. This is a beautiful image. It's very, draws you into the frame. As a photographer, I relate to this image very much. Caitlin is also one of the young photographers that we saw win some prizes in our past competitions. So it's really glad to see Caitlin continuing to explore her photographic adventure and being willing to participate in these competitions and impress the judges. So congratulations, Caitlin. Our first runner-up in the Wild and Beautiful Youth category is Deadly Assassin by Jaden Charles. I am not a lover of spiders, but this is a beautiful image that he somehow captured very clearly, despite the spider being so camouflaged against the background. So congratulations, Jaden. And the winner of our Wild and Beautiful Youth category is Peking, again by Jaden Charles. So congratulations, Jaden, for taking a double. Obviously, you're doing something right, so keep at it. Yeah, I mean, you're doing some beautiful work, and we just encourage you to keep going. And I mean, you're a youth category winner, so there's a lot of opportunities ahead of you. So congratulations to all our winners on this competition. Yeah, let me hand it back over to Faraaz.
All right, thank you, Chad. And again, hey, congrats to all of these fabulously talented photographers. And yeah, hey, I noticed that in the adult category. I was like, what is going on with the Kevins? Is there some kind of conspiracy somewhere where you got to name Kevin to place a winner? Anyhow, but it's really, really heartening to see a lot of these entries and the quality of the entries, especially from the young people. It gives me a little bit of hope. So, all right. So without further ado, there are a couple further prizes, which I think that some of you are maybe waiting on. And the first of these is the People's Choice Award. And this was done via popular vote on Facebook. And this is Sober Waterfall by Mark Joseph. And this is a fabulous image of soft water falling with a very, very brave hiker there for scale. It really shows you the exact kind of how grand this whole scheme is, this whole scene, sorry. Fabulous image, Mark, and congratulations. I know that the voting was neck and neck with a few other images, but eventually this one came out on top. And I think this is somewhere in Brasso Seco, if I believe. There are so many different spots that are unknown relatively by the majority of the population in this country that really need love, you know? So thank you, Mark. And there is only one more prize to speak of. All right, so are you all ready? This is the winner, the overall winner of the HADCO Grand Prize. And it was a very difficult decision. I can speak on behalf of all of the judges. There was much deliberation. All right, are you all ready? You all sure you're ready? The winner, ladies and gents, of the HADCO Grand Prize is, where's my mouse? If I Could Walk on Water by Justin Wallace. Congratulations, Justin. Huge, huge congratulations. This was a fabulous image that stood out to many of us, you know, when we got the shortlist. And it is such a unique perspective on a problem that we all see and smell, right? Whenever we go to some of the Atlantic coastlines, right? This image had a really, really fantastic caption. Now I'll tell you that there were several photographers who depicted this sargassum issue. And it's really, really an issue that needs more attention, right? It's something that is a result of the changing ocean currents that is, you know, because of climate change. So there's this like global context to this image. And it is a view, again, that I said that we don't really get to see, right? Something else that I enjoyed about this image is that it shows both the impact on the environment, and it also shows the impact on human life. So it shows the impact on the shoreline, but also that inclusion of the boat in the middle that sealed the deal, man, right? It's really, really showing the struggle that we are facing, all right? So, hey, thanks so much to everyone here. Thank you again to all of the participants. But listen, to give you more thanks is Mark Gibson, that I'm going to bring back on here to give you a little vote of thanks. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Faraaz, and congratulations to all of our winners. This is just an incredible showing from my own perspective as a conservation marketer, at least part-time. I find these images also powerful. So I would like to just begin by thanking all of our participants who put in the work and believe in this approach of conservation photography. Everything is so, well, I think for those who joined us a little late, let me put it this way. I love, for instance, If I Could Walk on Water, the HADCO Grand Prize, which shows climate change impacts. And it's hard to depict climate change. That's a project I've worked on myself, and that does such a uniquely powerful job of it. Similarly, we are experiencing, using our own broadcast here today as maybe a conservation message, we're experiencing adverse weather, flooding in our area that's atypical. And it's as some of you know who joined us initially, we lost our first 5 minutes as Coffee River, this wonderful wildlife park in Tobago, took us in. And so here we are facing real conservation impacts that have real small but significant impacts. And yet here we can turn to our friends and partners in the conservation community to support us when internet goes out in a large section of Tobago. So thank you to the participants. Thank you for the messages you're sharing. I would like to also just do a quick Oscars style run through for people that need to be named. And I say that very hesitantly because I think there are a lot more people, but as anyone who has now tried to do a conservation photography competition, there's a lot of people who make it happen. And we learned so much from the experience of Trinidad and Tobago Photographic Society. So thank you at TTPS, Chad Lu Choi, Sarita Rampersad, Donna Chow Lin on Sicharan. And also thank you to Faraaz Abdool and his wife, Joanne, who has also supported us along the way. At Nurtured Nature campaign, where I put in some of my time in advocacy, the amazing co-managers there, Neve Vaughn and Lauren Ali, and the campaign assistant, Kristen Clark, they've been sharing their social marketing experience along the way. I want to thank our early seed funders who made this little adventure possible. It paid for an initial small focus group with local photographers to actually gain input on how to do this. And from there, we realized we could make this happen. And we are so thankful then to these anonymous small donations that gave start, but also then to our sponsors who came forward and made this possible. At our gold level, HADCO, at our silver level, Epson and Republic Bank, at our bronze level sponsorships, Nanan's Caroni Bird Sanctuary Tour and Sustainable Innovation Initiatives, and even what we would call partner, supporting us with tours, Z Birding Tours, who our youth participants, our youth winners will get to enjoy. To our judges who helped shape this as a vision and as something that could hopefully really work. And I would like to believe that we have room to grow, but we did an all right job for this first time among all of us for a conservation photography competition. The judges, Juliet Haddad of Trinidad and Tobago, this incredible multidisciplinary artist, Eladio Fernandez, a fantastic Caribbean conservation photographer, author, and filmmaker, and Georgina Staler, an award-winning nature photographer out of Australia. I want to say thank you all to those who have shaped this. Hello, hello all. And we have just had our internet cut out again by inclement weather. Hello. Hello all, everyone reattending. Thank you so much for showing up. It is yet an eventful World Environment Day. We lost power for a moment and that took our internet. So I'm just going to hand this back over to Faraaz. Thank you so much for those rolling in. I very much appreciate that. Hang with us just a moment. We again had inclement weather out here in Northeast Tobago and unfortunately just lost power and we're back on.
Okay, thanks, Mark, and sorry about that, everyone. And let me just, okay, so, hey, we were just about thanking everyone, and I believe Mark was just about finished, right? So thankfully—
Maybe Faraaz, if I just, again, say thanks,
yeah,
I'll
please.
just wrap up my point for those attending. Maybe again, this award ceremony gets to be some message for conservation photography, and that the reality is that we are hitting more adverse storms and we are having difficulty planning some meetings some days. I do lose power, for instance, once a month these days in Northeast Tobago. So I appreciate everyone coming back and being with us. So Faraaz, I hand you over, man. And thanks again to all of our participants.
Okay, thanks, Mark. And yeah, it's just about coming up on an hour here. So I just want to say thanks everyone again. And just a few house announcements, sorry, before we all go. Winning photographers, congratulations again. Please be on the lookout for some kind of communication from us regarding claiming of your various prizes. And also looking for some social media posts coming up. There were so many fascinating entries here that unfortunately did not make it to the winner's row. So we'll be sharing some of the other highly commended and notable entries in the future. We really would love to showcase some of these images. There were a lot of, really interesting points of view, as well as some really emotive captions as well. So I'm really heartened to see that a lot of us are critically examining some of the aspects of our lives that we dismiss as what we call we culture, right? So as I mentioned earlier, we have to continually to examine how we live, and is it right? Is it just? Are we doing the correct things? Are we being fair to everyone else that is also, within our earth? So yeah, and to everyone else who entered, anyone who thought about entering, to everyone who's considering taking up a camera or spreading the word of environmental awareness, listen, we all need your input. We have a huge job ahead of us. So from everyone here at the forefront, as well as behind the scenes of the Nurturing the Wild photography competition, I wish to again thank everyone and wish you all of the best. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and goodbye.